What's up, you beauties? Welcome to a special episode featuring 2022 NHL Draft prospect, Wyatt Wilson of the Victoria Royals. Wyatt, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. How are you, buddy?
Good. You? Thanks for having me on, James.
Very excited to hang out. A lot to get to in our short time here. Let's start out. Tell us about your time this year playing with the Victoria Royals. I think it was your first year with the team in the WHL, playing alongside former high and wide interviewee Gannon Larocque. How'd your season go this year?
Yeah, it was unreal season. There was a lot of ups and downs. I mean, struggled with injury a little bit, but at the end of the season, everything kind of came together for us, and we fell a couple games short of the playoffs, but we'll be back bigger and better next year.
I love that mentality. And, I don't know how much you want to get into it during the show, but you were telling a story before we got on. And I think it just kind of fortifies the kind of person that you are. And everything I read about you leading up to the show kind of came out in that short story. I don't know if you want to give a little glimpse to the viewers and listeners there.
Yeah, for sure. So about 7 or 8 games in, I had a pretty good start, was playing really well. And we had a road trip up to Prince George, and a guy cut to the middle. I went to hit him, and he ended up kind of jumping up into my face, and I ended up shattering my cheekbone in about 8 or 9 places and breaking my orbital bone too. And we only had 4 defensemen at that time. I think we had 13 guys on the road trip. So went into the room, the doctor stitched me up. He's like, yeah, nothing's wrong. You're good. So I went back out there, and I'm sitting on the bench. I'm like, man, like this game needs to get over. I am almost done with this. There's something wrong. And got back to Victoria. The bus actually broke down on the way back. So it was like a 22-hour trip. And then the doctor's like, yeah, you need to go for surgery right now. You got
yeah, oh my God. So, I mean, to stick that out for almost 24 hours, right? Because who could have foresaw the bus breaking down? I mean, you took it like a champ, right? And you got stitched up. And you look great, by the way. They did a great job. Very handsome gentleman. Any NHL team would be glad to have you. But yeah, man, what a story. Like, I don't know if I would have made that if I was you. So that just exemplifies your toughness there.
Yeah, it was a long day, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. So let's get to a little bit more, maybe a more positive point in the season for you. You were the star of the game versus Kamloops. Can you talk about that game a little bit?
Yeah, it was a really good game. I thought I played really well all around. It was pretty cool. That was October 12th, I think. And I actually scored my first goal that game. And my little brother actually assisted it. We play on the same team together. So he won the draw back right off the draw, and I just kind of stepped into one, and it found its way through. So that was a super, super special moment. And for my parents to be there, that was unbelievable.
How cool is that, man? That's a great story there. What's it like playing with your brother?
It's good. Yeah, he likes to play hard, mean, and physical too. And as a 16-year-old, he likes to go after those older guys. So sometimes I have to, step in and tell him to calm down a little bit before he gets beat up, or I have to step in and take it maybe. But
you know why he does that? He does it because he knows he has you on the team. Exactly. I got a little brother that's the same exact way. It's like, oh my God, he's getting into something again. Yeah, it's funny. All right, so I'm looking at some of your character attributes here, and number 1 on the list says lead by example, and you have the passion and drive to do whatever it takes to be successful. I don't know if you've seen the news. The Flyers are recently in talks to hire a coach by the name of John Tortorella. Just by looking at your character attributes here, intense love for the game of hockey, places a high priority on inclusiveness. You adapt quickly and stay poised in complex situations. I think you'd be a pretty good fit under John Tortorella. Can you talk about your character attributes and what makes you the way you are?
Yeah. So everything is earned. Nothing is ever given. So, whether a coach gives you 5 minutes a night or 25 minutes a night, you just take those minutes and you make the best of them and just build off that, get momentum going into the season, and then, have an outbreak season, or whether it's you're an all-star or, anything, top scorer, top defenseman, that's when good things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I loved when reading about you, Wyatt, is plays the game with an intense edge, not just an edge, with an intense edge. What is it about playing the physical style of hockey that you play that you love so much?
Yeah, you definitely get an adrenaline rush, playing the way I play. But the way you can change a game with the momentum, like making a big hit or, whether it's making a big hit or fighting, it can change the game just like that. So that's something I love. And you don't come across a lot of those players anymore. They're kind of becoming more scarce and scarce, but I believe every team needs one. So
that's interesting. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Because I feel like maybe so nowadays there are two groups. One group likes maybe the more analytical, more skill style of hockey, which, don't get me wrong, you need that in the game. That is a huge part of the game. The other side still likes the physical style, and they believe that the physical style of play can change the momentum of the game, or you need these type of players to kind of strike fear into the opponent. Can you talk about this a little bit more?
Yeah. Like I said, you almost need to have a happy medium. I mean, in today's game, it's super fast and skilly. You need to be able to keep up and make good plays at high speeds. But I don't know. I just feel that go out, make a big hit. It changes the momentum in a playoff game. Like bang, like one guy we were talking about before is Jacob Trouba, lays massive hits, and you can see the game change instantly. And guys get scared of him, and then they start backing off and everything. Yeah. Together.
It's almost as important as scoring a goal. I mean, it changes. You could change the course of a game by laying a pretty good hit.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's interesting. I think here in Philly, I think most of us enjoy that style of play. I mean, obviously, Broad Street Bullies, we still talk about them today. That's almost 50 years ago now. But I mean, it gets the crowd juiced up. It gets the bench juiced up. It's just fun. Yeah. So while we're talking, you brought up Jacob Trouba. Let's talk about real quick 3 players to compare yourself to. Who would you compare yourself to in the NHL today?
One guy, say it would be Seth Jones. Seth is a pretty big frame. He makes a good first pass, and he reads the ice well. He defends pretty well on his own and uses that to jump up in a rush. Victor Hedman's kind of the same way. And then Mark Giordano is a big one. His leadership off the ice is like no other. I mean, whether it's going to, the Children's Hospital or just going out and doing some community work, it's unbelievable some of the stuff he does.
So you pay attention to that kind of stuff there.
Yeah, I think that's huge in today's game. It's not just about what happens on the ice; it's off the ice too. So.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's definitely good quality to have and a good quality to look up to. I'm going to welcome in our co-host here, Josh. Josh, this is Wyatt Wilson of the Victoria Royals.
Wyatt, pleasure to meet you, sir.
Yeah, you too, Josh.
And we're just going over 3 players that Wyatt would compare himself to in the NHL. His first one was Seth Jones. What do you think about that comparison?
Well, from what I've heard about you, Wyatt, you're another big body who can move the puck, so I could definitely see why you would say that. And I think I did hear on the tail end of that Mark Giordano. So do you consider yourself, a leader on your team and a leader on and off the ice?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. You don't really have to wear a letter to be a leader. I mean, last year I didn't wear a letter, but I'm hoping this year I will. And just whether it's rounding the guys up and redialing them in and focusing them up, or even if it's away from the rink, guys aren't in line, put them in line and set a good role model. So
it's outstanding. Do you have one more player that you had in mind?
I don't know, probably, like I said, Hedman a little bit. Hedman, obviously a massive frame, and the way he walks the line, and he's so deceptive in what he does. He's one of the best at it for sure.
I would say pretty good player to look up to there, man. Yeah. Probably the best defenseman in the NHL, I would say.
Yeah, one of them for sure.
Speaking of Hedman, you've been watching the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm sure you have, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can the Avalanche beat the Lightning, you think?
I don't. Avalanche they're both very, very good teams, but I think it's going to be an unreal series. I think it's going to go to 7, but
I hope so.
I guess we'll see, yeah.
If I could apologize for my tardiness, I'm 10 minutes away from Ball Arena, and as you can imagine, the traffic here is just insane. It's so crowded here in downtown Denver. It was impossible getting home today.
That's right. I didn't even think about that. So yeah, Josh is out in Colorado. Is the game's in Tampa or Colorado? I'm sorry.
Colorado.
Oh yeah. So there you go. You ran into all that then.
Oh yeah, it is. Colorado is not your traditional hockey market. I mean, I'm a Philly kid through and through, so I know all about being from a tough hockey city. But Denver's a beautiful, beautiful place to play hockey. I mean, the guys here love it. Like the Avalanche players, they're so well represented in the community. It's a great place to be a hockey player.
Sweet.
Yeah, so is Philly. So you want to come here though?
Yeah.
You'll visit Colorado once a year, but you want to live in. No, I'm just kidding. So all right, so let's get to another question here. So we talked a little bit about this before the show. Broke my heart a little bit. Wyatt, your favorite NHL team is?
Chicago. That's a team I kind of grew up watching. They had a pretty good run there. One player is Patrick Kane, man. Like that guy, it's crazy. He's super crafty. I just loved watching him. His skill set's wild. So.
Yeah, it is. That's enough about Patrick Kane in this episode. All right. So when did you know you had a shot to play in the NHL? At what age?
It's kind of tough to say. I was almost an underdog kind of my whole life, kind of going unnoticed almost. And, I just kind of started to come out of my shell, I'd say midget third year. I was named second team All-Star midget second year, and then midget third year, I was almost pretty close to 2 points per game. I led the league in all defensemen. So, and then I ended up signing in the AJHL. I was actually going to go NCAA, and then Dan Price and the guys at Victoria called me and said, we want you to come out and play with your brother. And I was like, I can't pass that up. So went out there, and then, a team started approaching me this year, and I hope everything goes good on draft day.
Yeah, we're sure it will. So here's an interesting thought that I just had. In light of the Flyers just potentially hiring a new head coach, we've been talking a lot about which kind of coach players might like to play for. Do you have a specific style of coaching that you would like to play under? For example, we hear a lot of John Tortorella kind of being a little bit tougher on his players, right? Expecting more and going about different ways of bringing it out of them, compared to, I'm just going to use Alain Vigneault. This is not a slight, maybe a more passive, aggressive approach, or maybe he might say something in the media or whatnot. Is there a specific style of coaching that you prefer that really helps you get to the next level?
Not overly, I mean, I've had quite the variety of coaches over the past years, and I mean, a coach that definitely holds guys accountable is a coach that I like. But there's not one specific coach that I would be like, oh yeah, that is my style. As long as I'm given a chance and given a chance to prove myself, that's all I care.
Okay, I think that's a great answer. And as I'm going back to some of your notes here, and leader comes up multiple times in here, and I think that was a good answer. That was an answer a leader would give, I think. And I would like to talk a little bit more about that. Lead by example, your ability to communicate openly and honestly. I think there was a coach or a trainer in here that said you're the epitome of what's the word I'm looking for here? You are the epitome of character. Sorry. What is it about just being not only just a good hockey player, but a good human being that what motivates you to be this way?
Yeah, ever since I was a young kid, I know I was brought up in a family where respect is earned, right? So, my dad and mom always taught me that growing up, and we're always super competitive too. And the school I went to, I actually got super close with my principal. He actually played in the Western League for a couple of years there in Seattle, and he taught me a ton I need to know about life. Like that guy, I owe tons to him and my parents. They've taught me a lot.
And I have a quote from a teammate here. Wyatt is a great teammate, always puts his team first. He's not afraid to take a hit, block a shot, or stick up for his teammates. Plays a very physical game and always has a good stick. Smart defender, always knows when to join the rush. So, I mean, a leader's got to be unselfish. Sounds like, you'll go out of your way to help your teammates. Is that something you always took pride in?
Yeah, always. I mean, it comes down to when it comes down to the last 2 games of the year, like it did this year. I mean, every moment counts throughout the year, whether it's, you jump out of the way of a block shot and that goal goes in, that's a difference from, a team making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. Right. So, whenever I'm needed, I'll step up and make a block or, take a hit to put the team first and win.
For sure. Josh, you have anything you want to add or move on to the next question?
I got a real dumb question that it's more of a just like a hockey culture question more than it is a hockey player question. But through the years coming up through juniors in Canada, I'm sure you hear a lot of Willie, Willer. But is there any one nickname you were called that ever had you double take?
I can't say no, not overly. I've been called Moose a little bit. Willie, and that's really about it. Moose and Willie. That's it.
Moose is always a good one. If you're over 6'2" and 200 pounds, I think Moose fits about any player. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah. So speaking of size, I mean, you have the frame to play in the NHL already, right? That's an important thing to have these days. Do you think you can use that to your advantage?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just hair over 6'3", and a lot of guys that are bigger now, they're learning how to skate a lot better and faster. So that's something I've worked on a ton, is my skating, and just the first couple quick strides, and then I'm good. So. And
your defense partner, who we had on the show last year, Gannon the Rock, it was recently, I think the San Jose Sharks signed him to an ELC. Did you guys do anything to celebrate that?
It was actually, he signed like 3 days after our agency camp. So I wish I was up in Edmonton with him, but no, I FaceTimed him as soon as I heard the news, and he was super happy. He deserves it. He taught me a ton this year, so I owe a lot to him too.
Did anybody nickname your pairing like the Twin Towers or anything? Because you guys are two big guys, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. No, we didn't get any names.
There you go, Twin Towers. Make sure everybody uses that from now on.
Yeah. Sounds good.
That's good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, we're coming towards the end here. Josh, if there's anything that you wanted to add in for Wyatt, if there's anything that you wanted to bring up.
I'm good. I think you guys can take over. I don't think I have anything. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting to be able to, talk to people who are, coming up on the biggest stage of their life. And obviously it's awesome. The NHL is not a place where you can be 6'3" and not be able to skate or shoot anymore. And, knowing what I know about you so far is you're a guy who can move the puck and shoot it. So I think in a few weeks, you're going to have a nice little surprise coming up, and we hope it's Philly personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wyatt, thanks for joining us, man. Taking the time to talk to us a few weeks out. I mean, we really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh.
What are you going to be doing for the draft? You got anything special planned?
No, I'm probably actually going to, head out to the lake and set it up and watch it there. And then after the draft, I know the Stampede's a big event here in Canada. It's a big rodeo in Calgary. I don't know if you guys have heard about it.
Oh yeah.
No, I was going to say, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So it'll be the first year I'll go, but it's basically a massive fair and rodeo in Calgary that pretty much everyone goes to. So I got a bunch of buddies I played with out in BC when I was in my Bantam second year. Names you might know, like Logan Stankoven, he's with Dallas now, and Jake Chason with the Oilers. So get to see them a little bit, hopefully, if they come down, and just reconnect with old friends and have some fun, I guess. So.
Yeah, man, good stuff. You deserve it.
Yeah,
all right, so I'll put you on the spot real quick. I know we talked a little bit about the Stanley Cup. You said it's going to be a good series. Who's going to win, though? You got to say. Pick a team.
Oh, I got to pick one.
Yep.
Boy.
Pressure's on.
I'll go with Tampa Bay. I want to see Pat.
Oh, a three-peat.
Yeah. Oh, so, yeah.
They look good, man. How about Stamkos? He looks unstoppable.
Unreal. Really good.
Yeah.
He's quite the player. But.
All right, man. Well, we did it. We're just coming up on about 20 minutes here. You made it through alive. We're going to wrap this episode up. Wyatt, thanks for hanging out with us, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
We wish you all the best. Good luck in the upcoming NHL draft, and we'll be looking for you. We'll be seeing. We'll be watching to see where you get drafted, buddy.
Thank you. Stay in touch.
All right, Wyatt. Have a good night, and thanks again.
Yep. See you later. Bye.
Appreciate it, brother.